Oh, hey, what's up? Fancy meeting you guys here. Well, shit. Well, like, you're here, and I'm here. I thought maybe, I don't know, we could talk about some horror movies? Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Death Twitch, and I'm your host, Eric Harrison. So yeah, let's jump into another top 10. I said I would do it eventually. I mean, that was a year ago, but hey, better late than never. So we're doing my top 10 modern horror movies. So disclaimers first. You guys should know by now that I'm the old school horror guy. I watch horror from the 80s on back to the 30s. That's pretty much my comfort zone. That's usually where I spend most of my time. So I haven't seen every single modern horror movie, but out of the ones that I've seen, hey, these are my top 10s. The other disclaimers is that you're going to note that there's about a handful of movies that you will expect to be on this list that will not be on this list. That's because I think those movies are highly fucking overrated, and they're not gonna make my list. If you want them to be a top 10, then make your own. Yeah, all right. So fuck that, let's get into this shit. So here we go with number 10. Number 10 is gonna be The Descent. Now when I saw this movie, and I didn't really know what it was about, but I went in, checked it out, and this movie really gave me the chills on a level like a lot of movies don't do anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, dude, it gave me like just the heebie-jeebies. And you know, it's the enclosed space, it's the caves, it's the fact that I believe that these creatures could exist. The way they explain it and the way they present it, I really believe that somewhere out there in a cave that these creatures exist, and they scare the shit out of me. So like I said, even after watching this movie, I went out into public. I had to go to the store afterwards. I was out with people in a public place, and I was still creeped out because this movie just got under my skin. Okay, number 9 is Bone Tomahawk. Knew nothing about this movie going in. Somebody said, check out Bone Tomahawk. And I was like, okay. So I watched it. Now, this is maybe a little controversial one because it's not as much horror as some of the others on the list. Yeah, so it's a Western, and it's got a lot of comedy elements, but when the horror does kick in, it kicks in full gear. I just think it's really well made. The characters are fun to watch and fun to listen to their banter back and forth. And then, again, this is another instance where the threat, I feel, is real. It's cannibals. That exists, you know. You could encounter a cannibal tribe probably if you were off in the jungle somewhere and you got off the trails too far. It's still something that is kind of based in reality, and that makes it scary for me. Coming in at number 8, we got Let the Right One In. It's just an adorable little, like, vampire love story. It's a foreign film, but damn it, it's so well made, and I don't know, it's got heart to it, you know? It's got heart, and I feel for these characters, for both of them, but I feel for him because as a child, I also had to deal with bullies. So I get that. I wish I had a cool little vampire girl there to protect me. Damn. But anyway, yeah, it's just a lovely little vampire story. Check it out. So number 7, I've actually already done a review about this, so go check it out. But, you know, House of the Devil, it's got to make this list because I love everything about House of the Devil. The pacing is, oh, it's so good to me. It's so good. I love the slowness of this movie. I love the minimalism aspect of it. Just basically sticking to this one house, this one location, almost just following one character around for most of the movie. It's just very slow and quiet, and it avoids a lot of the cliches, and I dig that. So, number 6, another controversial one, The Babadook. So, I know, this is one that divides the horror community. You either love it or you hate it. I love it. And here's the thing, I want to kind of confess something to you guys. And one of the reasons why I like this movie is I really relate to it. Everyone says the kid is super annoying. You know what? He is. I was that kid, unfortunately, as a child. I was very disturbed. I'm still a disturbed person. But I was a really fucked up kid, and my father actually did die in a car accident when I was very, very young. So I really, really relate to this character in this movie. I can understand why he's that fucked up, but it's also just the metaphor of this woman dealing with her grief and how that's kind of personified as the boogeyman, and she has to face this thing that she doesn't want to face within her, but she has to, or she's going to lose her mind. I think it's such a well fucking crafted movie. Haters out there can hate all they want. This movie is the shit. Alright, number 5, we got The Conjuring. Now, I'm not big on paranormal ghost story movies. I know a lot of people out there are, and not dissing on you at all. Everybody's got their thing. It's usually not my thing. But damn it, The Conjuring is so fucking solid. This is a solid ass ghost story. And I just love the storytelling. I love the cinematography. The characters are all really, really enjoyable. Like you want to see like these people get away from their demon problem because they're just so like nice. It's like, I'll leave them alone. These are just nice people. Just well-crafted ghost story. Check it out. Okay, we got number 4 is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Again, and it's another movie I've done a review on before, so go and watch it. This is probably the oldest one on the list, really pushing it to make it to the top 10 modern horror movies. But damn it, I can't not include Behind the Mask. I love this movie because it dissects the horror genre, but it also, while it's a meta horror movie, it also becomes the horror, like the kind of horror movie that it's talking about. And it does so cleverly. It's one that I feel like people haven't really fully discovered yet. So if you've not seen Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, check it out. It's worth it. So we got number 3. I'm going to go with The Cabin in the Woods for number 3. Now here's one where I feel like a lot of the horror elitists and the horror purists don't like this movie, I feel like, and I'm not sure why, but I totally love everything about this movie. I think it's super clever, and if you're gonna get away with making a meta horror movie these days, this is how you do it. They lay all the rules out there and then they turn them on their heads, and it's just fun as a horror fan to watch, like, oh yeah, I get that, that's pretty clever. Yeah, they turn everything about the horror genre on its head, and I think it's just a well-made movie. Not to mention that I believe it has probably the best ending to any horror movie ever, and I will not spoil that for you if you've not seen it, but how can you beat that end? All right, so number 2, I'm gonna go with Digging Up the Marrows by Adam Green. Now, this is a movie where I think a lot of people find it boring, but I dig it. And I understand why they would find it boring. But to me, it's all about the interaction between his character and the guy he's basically making a mockumentary about. A documentary. And it pulls me in, the interplay, and because at one point you start to believe, and then you start to disbelieve, and then you don't know what to believe. Now, the biggest complaint that I will side with is that we need more monster action. It's true. I didn't need a lot more personally, but we still needed some more monster action. Despite that fact, I really dig this movie. It pulls me in, and I don't know, something about it. It's cool. I like it. All right, and then number 1, we're getting to that first one. No special ranking, but although this movie does hold a pretty special place in my heart, it's Deathgasm. Fucking love this movie because I'm a metalhead and I'm a horror freak, and if you give me a movie that combines those things, it's like, oh, I'm a happy fucking camper. Deathgasm is the bomb. Where do I even begin? Okay, here's where I began. I reviewed it, so go check it out. Kimberly, what's her name in the movie, is so hot, and just all the inside jokes between the horror inside jokes and then the metal inside jokes. And all the heavy metal in the movie, and it's like The Evil Dead combined with fucking Slayer, you know what I'm saying? And it works so well. I love Deathgasm. I can't recommend it enough. Brutal as fuck. So, well, with all of that out of the way, that's my top 10. Now, let me give you some honorable mentions, because let me tell you, there was a bunch of movies that were very close to making this list. And I'm going to tell you what they are. None of these are bad movies. They're all great movies. They just didn't quite hold a place in my heart like the others. So let's talk about this real quick. The Devil's Rejects, probably Rob Zombie's masterpiece film. Trick or Treat, an ode to everybody's favorite holiday. I love that movie. The Strangers, it really takes the slow build thing and does it right. The Mist is a movie that kind of subverts your expectations and has a real ballsy ending. May is, you gotta love May. She's just misunderstood. Everybody loves May. Session 9, and now I really wanted Session 9 to be on this list. I really wanted it to be, but considering it was put out in 2001, I felt like that was pushing the envelope for a top 10 modern horror, but damn it, Session 9 is pretty fucking awesome. All right, before I actually die of a heat stroke because, oh my God, Arizona is killer, I better go get some beers and start editing this motherfucker. But thanks for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to tell you what those handful of movies that I didn't include on this list are because I think they're overrated, but I'm sure you'll see it in the comment section. Everybody going, why didn't you include this one? Or why didn't you include that one? Anyway. Thanks for joining me, guys. I got to go. So I'll catch you on the next one.